Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Movie Deputy Reviews, where if you caught the episode the other day, it was really iconic, the fact that I chose to do that episode 49 years to the day that the movie came out. I mean, come on, that's kind of epic. And as I always promise, it is going to be an adventure here with Movie Deputy Reviews. You may notice something different. What could it be? I forgot which way I should lean down so you can see the whole thing. We got a new flag that has the whole logo, so you're not just seeing Movie Deputy, because it always cut the TY off with the poster. So now you get to see Movie Deputy Reviews. And of course, the whole podcast part right there with the microphone. I was kind of surprised that a lot of people, when they see the little logo, they don't always pick up on the fact that it says podcast in the microphone. But so that's kind of a new little thing. And of course, I still have all my logo gear with this. And it's really noticeable. A lot of people have always thought I always wear black, but I have black and navy shirts that I wear a lot. I have one burgundy one and a couple gray, but the black and the navy are my two favorites, just because they're the most comfortable polos that I have. And a lot of people thought it was always black, but now, especially against the black chair and against the flag, you can really see it's navy. But that's not what we're focusing on today. But I just kind of had to go and unveil that. But today we are actually talking about my favorite of all of the Star Wars movies. Now, what did that do with the score? Well, that you're going to have to wait and find out. It already had a good score, but being the fact that I kind of look at things a little bit differently, the score changed by 1/4 of a point from what it had been on MovieDeputy.com. Which way? And if you're going to go try to find it on MovieDeputy.com, as soon as the podcasts come out, the reviews disappear from the website. So you have got to come here. And of course, you can find the original review down here in the description, and I'm going to be sharing it with you as well. But in this one, we get to see truly how the saga continues. Now, Star Wars, when it came out in 1977, just basically turned everything on its head. Nothing like that had ever been done before. And now we get to see the story as it continues. I, again, found a really retro trailer for The Empire Strikes Back. And I just wanted to share with you as well. I'm giving the Empire Strikes Back, once again, an innocent rating. Yes, there's some fight scenes. Yes, there are some intense scenes, but these are movies that are just iconic. So even with all of that, they are safe for all ages, in my personal opinion. So, and that is as Movie Deputy, not as just me. But let's go ahead and check out this trailer. And then, of course, I will share with you the original review that was on Movie Deputy. And we'll just kind of talk a little bit more about this as well. If you have never seen the original trilogy, technically this was the first episode 2. But with the prequels coming out, it's now episode 5. When everything kind of came out and kind of tossed all that up in the air and just kind of went haywire, it was just kind of hard to keep track. But this, to me, will always be the second one, because this was the second movie. And so it's technically not episode 2, it is the second movie. But let's get into the trailer and check this out together.
Luke Skywalker and Han Solo rescued the princess, destroyed the Death Star, but their story didn't end there.
Now, mind you, this was not me giving those spoilers. That is in the trailer. So if you don't know that happens in the first movie, again, I'm not spoiling that this is what was the original trailer that came out for this.
The biggest smash hit of all time, bringing the next episode in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Continuing story of our band of heroes: Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewbacca. And introducing Lando Calrissian. It's an epic of romance. off heroes and villains. They cross trackless voids to unknown worlds. A galactic odyssey against oppression. Big, new, sprawling space adventure in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Coming to your galaxy next summer.
There we go. And I am back. I didn't mean to click that right that quick. It was just coming to a theater next summer because this movie came out in 1980 and that trailer was from 1979. But this one, and I always like to kind of get people thinking about things. And did you recognize the narrator in that trailer? The narrator was actually Harrison Ford, Han Solo. So that was the person who was narrating that trailer. So just kind of a little bit of tidbit of information. I actually haven't gotten a lot of feedback on the whole thing with C-3PO's leg. I was like, okay, 2 silver legs or 2 gold legs or a gold and a silver. I would really love your feedback of which do you remember. So again, I am in the camp of 2 gold legs because that's what I remembered. But there is so much out there for stuff that shows him having a silver leg and so much stuff that shows him having the 2 gold legs. So which is it? But that is not the focus of this movie. This as the story continues. They rescued the princess. They did all this. They blew up the Death Star. Again, that's in the trailer. And who is this bad guy? This bad guy is Darth Vader. And those awesome looking robots over here on the poster are AT-ATs. And with the new Mandalorian and Grogu, there's actually I think it's about, I want to say 2 feet tall-ish, approximately. And it is so cool, but it's really fragile. I have not put mine together yet. I guess you kind of have to put it together a little bit. And I didn't realize until I was kind of looking it over the other day that it has batteries. So some part of it lights up. I hadn't checked that out yet. And then, of course, I have the Grogu popcorn bucket. He'll always be Baby Yoda to me, but here we're not dealing with Baby Yoda. We're dealing with Yoda in these movies. So have you seen these? Are you a Star Wars fan? Even if you're not, go back and check these out. They're entertaining for all ages, even this many years in the future. Mind you, some of the special effects are cheesy, but we didn't have the special effects back then like what we have now. This stuff was hand drawn. It was hand done. It was done with strings and wires and sparks and drawings and just really rudimentary, but awesome. Now, I actually got in a debate the other day about A New Hope. I couldn't think of the name of it for a second. And then Empire Strikes Back. And then, of course, Return of the Jedi, which are their first original 3 movies. Sorry, I don't script any of this. I'm just sitting here. So I trip over my own words sometimes. But I was in a debate with somebody just yesterday, the day before. And they were like, Star Wars is nothing but a cheap knockoff of Star Trek. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. No. And we went back and forth on this, and they were comparing like the coolest parts of Star Wars to some of the stuff on Star Trek. Now, mind you, Star Trek was cool. And there are really divided fans. You've got Star Trek fans. You've got Star Wars fans. There are occasional people who are fans of both, but a lot of times it's really divided of Team Star Trek or Team Star Wars. Which ones are you? Personally, when it comes to the originals, I am Team Star Wars. When it comes to some of the newer ones, like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, things like that, I kind of like those a little bit better than the originals. And I'm sorry, I will always think it's funny when things like Family Guy make fun of William Shatner. I just find that hilarious, especially when they're making fun of that. And then I'm a huge fan of Priceline too, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, I am Team Star Wars. So I would love your feedback. Feel free to tag me on social media or send me direct messages on that. I would love to hear which team that you are on. Hopefully, if you're here checking this out, you are Team Star Wars, but that's not a requirement to enjoy this. But let me share with you the original review that had been on MovieDeputy.com. The Rebel Alliance has come a long ways since we saw them 2 years ago. Technically, it was 3. They are doing their best to establish themselves, to train and learn all that is needed. When those who come after them learn of their locations, it becomes an intense battle. Though they're able to escape, they don't escape together. Luke decides to go off on his own journey to find a Jedi Master. That's where I was referencing Yoda. He doesn't go alone, though. A friend has gone with him. The rest of the team goes off in a different direction, but doing so will end up putting them in great peril. Luke finds the Jedi Master and begins to learn what is necessary to fulfill his destiny. Only just as he begins to get a grasp on what is necessary, he is needed elsewhere. Rather than staying and completing his training, he goes off to save his friends. Once there, he comes face to face with someone who knows something about his past. When that secret is revealed, it will change Luke forever. The second installment in this saga gives us a lot more to ponder. We are invited into their worlds and into what makes each of them who they are. This seems to be only the beginning of a great saga that is yet to unfold. Where can they go from here? The opportunities are endless. Like I said, I kind of miss writing up the reviews the way I did on those back in the day. But at the same time, I love being able to share this with you here. Now, I had originally given Empire Strikes Back a 7.25 out of 10 on the Deputy scale, which is watchable, memorable, plot with some questionable content. And an 8 is watchable, memorable, just great story. So why was I closer to the questionable content one than to between the 7 and 8? Why was I closer to one than the other? Well, like with the original, there are mistakes, but there is so much action in this, and there's so much, but unless you're really following along and paying attention, it could easily be confusing. This is one I've watched many times, but even after watching it the first time, I had a pretty good understanding of what was going on. And then getting to see and meet Yoda and seeing how he fits into the whole universe with all of that really makes a difference too, because especially nowadays, we understand the power that his character has had to the point of even like the new movie on that. But you noticed I said earlier in the show that the score changed by 1/4 point. Did I go up or did I go down? Which do you think? I went up. The Empire Strikes Back, our new score, is a 7.5 out of 10 on the Deputy scale. Personally, I'd probably give it a little bit higher, but staying true to the Deputy scale, which my personal opinion and the Deputy scale are 2 different things. Personally, I'd probably be 8.5 on this one easily, but staying true to the Deputy scale, I have to stay true to that. And being the fact that I look at these movies now through more of a conservative mindset, it's so nice to see these and to really enjoy these without the political innuendo, without the stuff that's like so woke and so just overdone in nowadays society that it is just such a mess. But as always, I promise you an adventure, so I hope that you have enjoyed this, and I hope that you come along to see Luke and Leia and Han Solo, and now Lando Calrissian, and of course Darth Vader and stormtroopers and just kind of everybody else that's in this. There is so much happening, and there is just so much to enjoy, whether you are seeing this for the first time, the 50th time, the 100th time, whether this is your favorite movie of all time or whether you've never seen it. Please experience it again for the first time through the eyes of the ideas with Movie Deputy and things like that. And like I said, I love getting feedback. I love when people message me telling me, you really helped me think about this, or, you really were way off on this. I get both. I get the positive and the negative, and I love all the feedback. I respond to all of it myself. Some of it's worth responding to, some of it not so much. The negative stuff, I don't respond to a lot of the negative, but whenever I get anything positive, I always respond with personal messages back in return. But as always, like I said, I promise this is an adventure, and this is just the beginning, as we know. So if you haven't done so already, please click subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you get the latest and the greatest Movie Deputy content. And as always, I will be back soon. There are many more of these stories to share. Bye.